It's Monday morning, start of another week, and this is what I did yesterday. Got this room looking nice and white and almost finished. All the trotter berths all painted up as well, so it's looking really sharp. I will hopefully soon start putting this all back together. But this week is going to be a different week. This week is going to be an engineering week. I've got my list on the wall, all the jobs we've got to do to get the boat to float and to move around the sea safely. And this week's going to be a big focus on that. And I've got someone to help me this week, and I'm very excited about this. Yay! Tom had to sit there for a whole minute, quiet, while I did that introduction, just so we could do that wavy thumbs up thing. How you doing, Tom? You alright?
I'm alright, thank you, mate. Yeah, all good. Looking forward to it.
We've had a lot of help from people over the course of this build, and we'll always be very grateful. Our boat neighbours, Andy and Al. Our old boat neighbour from the Dutch barge days, Matt. Fellow musicians from Warwickshire, Tom and Kelvin. Hugh's big brother, Charlie. And Hugh's high school DT teacher, Stoney. Stoney made sure that we would definitely remember him, because a few months later, Hugh found this.
Here I am in one of the least accessible places in the boat. And the other night, when I was painting, I discovered this. Oh. Stoney, what a geezer. Of course I couldn't paint over it. Cool, so I haven't actually told Tom much about what his job is yet this week, but we've got everything in this big box here, which Kelly took off the boat ages ago. Massive box full of deck fittings, some of which we need to get back on. There's like cleats and things like that, so that we can actually tie the boat up to the shore. At the moment, it would just, there's nothing to tie on. That sort of stuff. Yeah. We've got to put the seating down, so that doesn't just fall off when we're sailing. That sort of stuff.
Important stuff.
Yeah, important stuff like that.
Really important
and then also we're going to do a trip to a container and put a load of stuff in storage as well.
Perfect.
So we've got a couple of fun days planned. This is Tom repairing the cut generator cable. When this generator was taken out of the old boat, someone just cut the wire to get it out more easily, which makes sense if it was running through little bulkheads. But luckily Tom's visiting today and he's got electric stuff. Look at that. And then it's got no water connected and no diesel, but we can just press the on button and look what happens. There you go, that's it cranking, ready to start up. Oh, that's exciting. That's pretty good.
Job done.
That's the first time that's the first time that's cranked in nearly 2 years, and it just started, didn't it?
Perfect.
That's pretty positive.
Back to the jobs list, deck fittings.
Morning.
Reassembling.
Yeah.
Some things we took apart and learned that actually I've been quite organised.
Everything's where it should be.
Yeah, everything's labelled up, everything's bagged together, screws with components, that sort of stuff. So Tom's literally just reconnecting things.
Yeah.
He's going to put these back on in a moment for us. He's just done everything on the back here. All those things are all plumbed back in, screwed back down, connected. I feel like my grandpa. It's exciting. I've actually been organised for the first time in my life. It's cool. I remember, actually I was thinking about this, I remember when I was at school, in the physics department, they had a poster on the wall and it said, it's like a picture of a little puppy looking up at a big old dog. And it said, what I lack experience, I make up for enthusiasm. And I remember being like younger, thinking that was enough. But like I'm now getting more experience. And I'm getting a bit lazier, but I'm getting more experience. So, when me and Kel took the boat apart, we put everything in this box. Loads and loads of stuff. And everything's like labelled up and sorted, and we're proper organised. And including that, I've just opened this bag here now, and I'm delighted. Anchor winch controls, open the bag up. I've got my 2 anchor winch controls, just here. Not only that, I've got a little wiring diagram I did. Look at that! That's how organised I am nowadays. So I feel like I'd have to ask my dad whether my grandpa actually was organised, but in my head, that's the sort of thing like a grandpa would do. That's what I just did there. So I feel like I'm owning life right now, getting it. We are rewiring the anchor buttons, and I've got Tom doing some work for me. Tom, where are you? Where are you, Tom?
Hey. In my little cubby hole.
You got in here? It's very impressive.
Just about.
Just about.
Only just.
And he's doing a bit of electricing for me.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
looking good.
Right, I'll leave you to it, pal.
No worries, see you in a sec.
One thing we're sure on Esperance is lazarette space, like storage space outside for lines and ropes and that sort of stuff. So yeah, look at this tiny little locker we've got here. That's it, it's the anchor locker. So hopefully the light will adjust. Anchor's down there, and then above it, above the anchor is just net. We got to fit all this rope into that tiny different locker. Look at this, mischief managed. All the lines are stowed away again. And plenty of space for our anchor chain when we get that windlass working, hopefully in the next week or so. Tom's just left and it's been great. We've got loads done. So have a look. So we're all done. You can see what we've done. You can see all the things we've done. It's been good, and we've also done a big one down here as well, and another one. Done all the clearing out, all the domestic stuff into storage, and then Tilly and her brother and sister and Mum have come around to visit and have a look. So we're doing a couple more jobs, aren't we, before tea time?
Yeah.
What are you going to help me with, Tilly?
I'm gonna help him put on the
Jack stays in the cockpit.
Yeah.
Jack stays. The little clips in the cockpit that we can clip onto when we're sailing so we don't fall into the sea. When we screw this in and it's fixed, this becomes what's called a jack stay. And a jack stay, if you've got your harness on, around your tummy,
Yeah.
you can clip onto this with a rope to your harness, and then if it's a big wave and you get splashed or you get washed ashore, washed overboard, it will hold on to and keep you safe. Okay. Okay, Eric's going to start tightening it now. Can you see it tightening? What are you doing, Eric? You're doing a bit of a socket set work.
Okay, can you help that? You helping?
I'm gonna help, look.
Screw then.
Good morning. Right, bit of an update. Had a pretty good day yesterday. Spent a few hours in the morning with Andy starting the service on the engine. Changed some of the parts because they already had some of the parts on board, which was great, left over from the previous owners. So this morning I've ordered the rest of the bits and pieces we need. So next week we'll be able to do the second half of that engine service, get that all finished off, get it all tickety-boo, and that's going to be great because we can run up the engine, get that going. Once the engine's running, that powers the hydraulics, and the hydraulics go to the bow where we've got the bow thruster and the anchor winch, and that's going to be great because we can test both of those, both of which we've cleaned up and sorted out a little bit as well, and then get the bow thruster, check it's spinning, check it's working, so we've got new oil to put in that as well, and then get the chain back on the boat, back inboard, back in the anchor locker, which we can use rather than pulling it up by hand, we'll use the hydraulic winch to pull it up, and then the anchor as well. So that's pretty exciting. Other thing, later today I'm going to sign off the P-bracket design with Kelly's cousin Dan, who's fabricating that for us. I'll sign those off, and he's going to then stick that on his magic CNC machine, which is going to spend the next 24 hours cutting it out. So hopefully, as we get into next week, Dan will post me this cool, big new fancy stainless steel bracket, and fingers crossed it's going to slot straight on, fit perfectly, and then we can put the propeller back on. We need to order some grease, that reminds me, that's on my list, I'll do that today. And then everything under the waterline's all attached, all secure, all done, the boat's ready to sail except for the rudder, which we are doing today, which means we can then steer the boat, which is exciting because the rudder's been off, it's been refurbed. Never done that before, never put a rudder on, but I did watch as the yard took it off for me, and I've sort of been around it, and it all looks very straightforward. And I know all the steering, all the cabling was all new and was all serviced recently under previous owners. So we're going to have basically a brand new engine with a full service on it. We've got full working hydraulics. We're going to have the steering, which is basically a new system, all up and running. We've got brand new P-bracket with proper support, new cutlass bearing, serviced rudder, fancy propeller, all this cool stuff coming together. It's going to be great, and we've only got two more things I've got to do on my splash day list on the wall over there, which is get the last couple of cleats on, so that we can actually just tie up the boat. We're getting closer. Like all the stuff we're attaching the mainsail, the rig, that's all back on now as well, so we can put the rig up, and then the mast can go. Oh, it's exciting. We're getting closer and closer. So here we are in the underneath the bed in our back cabin, and we are having a look, reconnecting this. And so this is the quadrant here, and along with that bit and that bit, that clamps over the rudder post, and it's got this little key here, which is all important and stops it spinning. A few bolts, put it all together. Hopefully hopefully, job's a good one, we'll see. There we go, so Captain Andy's on the wheel. You can see his ankles.
We're ready to go.
Right, you turn that wheel for us, Andy.
Okay. Here we go. No, something wrong here. Alright, no, it's up, it's fine.
You just said full lock, that was all.
I was on full lock. That's full lock the other way now, yeah?
Looks like it, yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Sounds good. They're not crossed, obviously, the cables. It's all good. How's it looking?
Yeah, perfect. The most exciting news is we've got 12 kilowatts, I think about 11 kilowatts of lithium ion batteries turning up today. Got the batteries, I'm very excited. Good, we're going to go and get these on the boat. That's all I've got to say, Andy. Right. Oh, I ain't got anything to say, I'm just watching me carry some bloody, oh, my foot literally went, that step just collapsed under the weight. I'm just going to open one of them because I'm quite excited. Oh, it's been lots of planning. I knew ages ago I was going to get this type. It was recommended by the electrician in the yard here. He's very good and knows his stuff. And then I sort of got worried about them by a couple of conversations, and then sort of come back round and realised these are the best for what we want to do because they're fully compatible with all the Victron stuff we're buying, but they're also nowhere near as expensive as Victron batteries. It's great. And in the end, we actually even got an even better deal than I thought it was going to get. So I'm really pleased with them. Got 4 of them. Would like to have had 6 or 8 of them, but lithium ion is expensive. So we'll do this now and just buy 2 more units later in the year or next year or whatever if we feel like we need them. So these are unusual on a boat in that they go in like a computer rack unit, sort of thing musicians use a lot. But I've been told they're fine on the boat by several sources, including the manufacturer. They are heavy. Alright. Actually, to look at, it's bigger than I thought it was going to be. That sounds stupid to say that.
More on the battery instalment next week. Hugh needs to get back to focusing on the list.
So I've got a bit more help today. Not quite as efficient as the 8-year-old. Go for it. Well done. Can you take the screw?
Yeah.
And then put the new silver screw in.
Done.
We're doing some measuring now.
Okay.
And here is the second instalment of our new feature that we like to call Hugh gets excited about a product, buys it, realises it doesn't do what is advertised, and redesigns it in his head. I need a catchier title.
Like a minute, Eric, isn't it?
I can't believe my luck. Hugh was just foaming up excited because the new fuel filter is here, and he said, come on, come and have a look.
I feel like I've been mocked. I've been here with Darcy, we've done some building, haven't we, Darcy, and some sorting. And I said, before you pick up Darcy, before you go home, come and check out this new fuel filter. So I'm excited about that. Right, go on, let's test it out. So this here is the old fuel filters with all the gunk and the rubbish that's come out of it. I'm going to mix that with some water. That's the idea.
You mix the fuel with water?
Well, that's what the whole thing is, going to separate it all. That's what I'm excited about.
Oh, okay.
So you can see, so water in fuel, we did a lot of learning about this on our barges, particularly the second one where we had a bad batch of fuel once and had to clean out everything, basically the whole system. But fuel has a shelf life, it goes off, particularly new fuel with all this extra sulfur content, which is more ecological but less efficient and productive as just usable fuel, especially for people like us on boats who buy large volumes and store for a long time. So we often get, you know, well on this boat for example, we're going to buy, I think our fuel capacity is 600 litres. So we're going to buy quite a lot of fuel at a time. We can easily take a year to get through all that. But you get things like diesel bugs where fuel goes off. You also get a big issue with condensation inside the tank. So there's air inside the tank, particularly a metal tank, which we haven't got luckily, but we did have on the barge. This is why it's quite a big deal. And this is why I'm becoming more and more of a, let's call it petrol head, even though we're diesel, and I'm quite enjoying it. So I just filled up this with this, and we've got this brand new toy, portable fuel filter. Right, so I'm going to put that in there. I'm excited because we had a lot of diesel trouble in the past, and I want to get good at this sort of stuff. So ready? So this is, you can see all that absolute rubbish coming out of this bowl. And that was all the fuel that's come out of our filters. You can see all the water. You can already see the different colours in there. You can see that not any water and diesel. There's probably a bit of other gunk in there.
I see the bubbles water.
And then you can see the water coming out. Actually, there's more water now because the water collected at the bottom.
I see the water and diesel's coming out.
Look at all that gunk.
It's unclear diesel. But I go in there.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a bit like when we have the water jugs to filter water, isn't it? That's filtering diesel.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, this is not the impressive 60 litres a minute I was expecting.
You thought it was just going to go...
Well, that's what it advertised, but you may be struggling because the water's got to sink down to the bottom. But anyway, it is working. Look what's coming out of the bottom.
Drips. That's what's coming out of the bottom. I should be going really fast.
I was expecting to go faster than this.
Can't you
This is definitely not 60 litres a minute, but I...
So is that 1 litre? So it's supposed to be 1 second.
We left.
You may have seen that moment where I did a thing with my new diesel filter for show off to Kelly. Didn't work. Anyway, before I write a polite but firm email, I do love a polite but firm email, I am going to do one more test with actual pure diesel and just see if it rattles through. So. Yeah, that's not too bad, actually. I'm a bit happy with that. I think the problem was there was so much water in it before and the water didn't get through, which is the point. The water's not supposed to get through. It's because I had like 50% water. If it was like what it's supposed to be, which is a bit of dirty contaminated fuel, which might be 2% or 1% or half of a percent water, but I think we've got less of a problem. Alright, sort of works. When all of the green filters are covered in diesel, that's when it can go at its maximum flow rate. So at the moment, hardly any of the filters are covered, so it's going much, much slower. So basically for it to go at the flow rate advertised, the bucket's got to be full. And if that bucket was full and you were pumping in from a pontoon side thingamajig, there's going to be diesel spilt everywhere. It's going to be a right mess. You're going to be contaminating the sea and the water and the surface of the pontoons and the boat. Bad product, I think, generally. The idea is nice, but it's been rushed. And the thing is, it looks like they've just copied the other ones on the market, like literally part for parts, which is, as I've worked in industrial design and seen firsthand, that's what happens. And it's like, well, rather than copying it part for part, why don't you like learn about it, make it better? No, they copied it part for part and put it on the market for half the price. And you know why? It works. Because I bought it. Right, now I'm going to return that. It's naff.
The final job of the week was to start installing the new rack for the new batteries.
Did you think it would be simple? You're such a fool. It's never simple. Right, the thing is, I'm trying to get a lot in to a small space. To get space for 6 units, even though I only own 4 units, but I want to have the capacity to upgrade later, is tight. Like, because they stack vertically and I've got to get them under this work surface here. That is the bottom board. And underneath where it's going to go, we've got the filler hose and the air vent hose for the diesel tank. And I'm going to get this base plate here, the base part of the rack, so low that it's actually going to intersect with those pipes. It's going to look neat. I know what I'm going to do. It's all fine. Like, I should show you when I finished. Broke the bit in my hole saw. Got another holder cut. I'll get wet. Oh, you twallop. It doesn't really matter, but that was supposed to be the big hole. The other hole was supposed to be the small hole. But that's big enough. What an absolute faff. As you can see, it's getting dark outside. Broken tools, hole saws, blunt, all sorts. But we got there. A bit of a dodgy hole there, but no one's ever going to see them. So, that is the base of my battery cabinet, where the bank's going to go. I'm just going to stick a bit of paint on that now. As you see, I've rubbed it down as well. And then I'm going to get that mounted as low as I possibly can. which is going to still allow for the pipe and the batteries, and then cut down the rest of the unit, which you can only just see in the shadows over there tomorrow, to fit in up to that height there, basically. Right, I've still got half my diesel experiment over there. I've got the battery casement, which is painted. That's what I cut out last night and painted, so that's just been left out. Anyway, it's a bit of a mess. There's basically 3 or 4 projects in this small space. I'm going to keep working this morning, make sure I'm tidy, so that when it comes to the new week tomorrow, because it's Sunday now, be all fresh, reset, ready to go again.